Alright. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear both the background music and myself. If you would, let me know if the background music is still too loud. It's kind of loud in my ear because I haven't figured out intelligent routing of this stuff yet. I'll give you guys just a moment to respond and let me know how sound is at the moment. I really wish this chat plugin would work. I'm going to try this one more time and see if I can get this chat overlay plugin working. Now, fair warning, because of... I bring it down a bit. Okay. Because of how I've got... Oh, let me just try switching to studio mode for a second so I can hopefully edit this chat overlay without you having to look at it. And the music stopped. Let me test this one more time. Alright, well, it is safe to assume that the chat overlay will not work properly, but my assumption is that you guys can see the chat yourself inside of YouTube. So I just won't worry about it. Anyway, assuming that all of our volumes are good enough right now, I suppose you're all wondering why I've gathered you here today. So let me show you what I've got going on. Let me go to my app data folder. And as you can hopefully see, I've got reaper.bak, which is a backup that I made of my previous Reaper configuration. This one here is from a clean install, so I'm going to rename that real quick. Whoop. If I can get back on the right folder. I'll rename that folder to .clean and rename my .bak to just Reaper. This is the folder that contains all the configs and everything for Reaper. So I will open this up and let's see what happens. And assuming I've got the right one here, what's been happening is if I shift click a plugin to bypass it, you can see how it also selected track 1. And if I just try bypassing a plugin on track number 8, I'm holding shift, and now nothing is selected at the moment. I'll hold shift and click this plugin, and it has arbitrarily selected tracks 1 through 8. That is driving me a little bit crazy. So what I did to test earlier today was to try a portable install, and that worked fine, which is what led me to trying this method of renaming my config folder and allowing Reaper to rebuild a new one. So if I open up that same project again, and it's going to show it's unregistered and probably have a couple other issues here. I started this right before I left for church this morning and haven't finished setting up anything. So we'll get through this. One thing that I noticed immediately is that everything is a lot more crisp in this. And I thought at first maybe I had done something to inadvertently do display scaling in Reaper, but I checked the exe, and if I can remember where it is, I think under compatibility, and hello. Now it's going to take me a bit to get used to looking over there for the chat, so I will try my best to keep up. But the DPI scaling, there's nothing special changed in there. If I take a look at settings for all users, I can see that DPI settings, there's no override listed there either. Yeah, that mustache, that was a weird one. I made a mistake and had to shave my whole mustache off. So let's see if I can get my audio interface configured. Get all of my ins and all of my outs. I'm not requesting a sample rate. since it should just automatically be 48 from the audio interface. And I guess I may just have to close and reopen Reaper for that to show up properly. Let's see what happens. Or I may just have too many things happening right now. There we go. So the audio interface is in there. Everything looks a lot more crispity, if that's a word, and I can shift click a plugin, any plugin, and it works as it should. So I thought that I could either completely rebuild Reaper from scratch, because you can see that I don't have a proper toolbar up here, which is slightly maddening. Wow. It's like I'm going to have to go back and take a look at my other one just to remember how I even had it set up, to be honest. The biggest thing that I would need to rebuild is my drum editing plugins and whatnot. Do I use Restream to send it? Well, historically I do. As far as the background music that's playing, I'm just running background audio, and there's a station called Backing Track on YouTube that is all royalty-free music that I can use for background music that's... I mean, I've just got it shuffling through everything that's in this list of songs. This is something that John from Reaper blog turned me on to many years ago, and I think this is probably actually my first time using it, but typically I do use Restream. Now that you mention that, let's close this, and I want to take a look in my backup folder, and I do want to pull out a few things, which is probably bad, but someone else on the Reaper forum had suggested making some comparisons of a few of these files. Now, I definitely would like to have SWS extension, and I can reinstall that, or I can just go to, if I can remember where it is, user plugins, and there's SWS extension. I've got a lot of interesting stuff in here that I probably don't need, so I may be better off just literally starting from scratch, and maybe that way I can only install what I need and not break a bunch of stuff. So I think I'll start by installing SWS extension. If I can spell it. Save it somewhere pro like the desktop. It's my favorite place for temporary storage. That takes care of that, so I'll go ahead and delete that installer from the desktop. And I know that I'll also need Repack. That is another favorite. I do have Notepad++, and let's see. Let's find out. Let me close some of these documents that I have opened up here, because some of it is odd stuff for work. Rebuilding, I don't know that it'll be that big of a job. I mean, I did at least let it already scan all my plugins and whatnot, so that's not too big of a deal. I am not really sure how to compare a couple of files in Notepad++. I'll look that up shortly. I'm going to go ahead and get Repack installed here. I'm not even going to bother loading any themes that I've downloaded. Whoops. Okay, so that was just a DLL, apparently. Don't know why I closed out of my folders. And I think I can open a second tab. But at the same time, I think I'd actually rather have a completely new window. And just snap these left and right. There's my current Reaper, and then here's my old Reaper. You can see I've got a whole lot more files in here. So my SWS extension is there. I cannot recall where repack goes. I think that goes in user plugins. Yeah. I am not on Twitch. I tried Twitch for a very short while and didn't like it. I can't exactly remember why. I think it was didn't mean to do that. I think it was the whole issue of very limited archive ability. I mean, Twitch seems to be more made for real-time communications, and I prefer to have a backlog of stuff that people can go and watch. Alright, so that should get us up to speed on repack and SWS extension, so we'll go ahead and relaunch Reaper. I need to find where my license is. I've got a couple of repositories that I'll definitely need to add back, but let's see if I can find my Reaper license somewhere here on the computer. If I can remember what it's called. Yeah, that's gonna give me a lot of stuff, isn't it? Millions. I have no recollection what the Reaper license file name is. Let's see. Oh gosh, where do I... Okay, import license key. Does anybody have any idea what the Reaper license file was called? I think I may have a copy of it in my Google Drive. I'll take a look here. I know I've got it. I mean, it's here on the computer somewhere. The problem with that is if I search for Reaper, I'm going to find all kinds of stuff, but that could still narrow down the... And I can't seem to recall switches in this to add wildcards. I could be digging through this for a while. I'm going to find my license. Reaper-license, thank you. So we've got RK. I could just do a search for star.rk and that should find it. And there we go. And I apparently have it right here. Thank you guys. Oh, that's wild. It imported it as soon as I opened it in Notepad. That's kind of nice. Alright, so we are registered. I've got repack and all that good stuff installed. Now what do I need to do? I need to run the theme adjuster. If I can find it. Yeah, and I've got my email and everything as well. I mean, I've got backups upon backups of everything on this system, but the problem is remembering where certain things are because I didn't do a good job of organizing my file system. Now that I see where it's located, it totally makes sense. So if I open that path, it is just in my music production folder, which is where I normally keep installers for plugins and stuff. Let's see, folder indent on the mixer. I like those a little bit lower. Actually, I like them all the way down like that is just fine. Track control panel, that is way too much of an indent. Quarter's fine. Oh my gosh, my toolbar. It's like I'm gonna have to go back and look at some old videos. But I know that there's some preferences that I definitely want to change right off the bat, so let's see how good my memory is. Language, English is fine. Startup settings, I prefer for it to prompt me each time I open Reaper, which I know is maddening for some people. All that stuff is fine. I don't think there's anything I want to mess with here. Well, thanks for stopping by there, Pat. You're not missing much. I mean, it's literally just me goofing off trying to get my Reaper back up and running. I don't think there's anything in here that I want to mess with, primarily because it's entirely possible that messing with something in the advanced UI settings broke what although I did change a lot of this stuff earlier today just to try, and still had the same problem. There was an option somewhere about, I think the Alt key. I need to find where that is. Right there, prevent Alt key from focusing main menu. I definitely want that. Prompt on startup, which is fine. Default path for new projects will be Reaper projects. Default render path will be a relative path inside the project folder, just called render. I don't typically do a default recording path when project is unsaved because I always save a project name when I start if it's something that I plan to keep. Peak cache as an alternate path is not a bad idea. I think I've already got that, or had that set up. Or maybe I didn't. Oh, right there, the one that says peaks. That clearly says peaks. And I don't need multiple paths there, so that's fine. Keyboard multi-touch, I will leave that alone. Prompt to save on new project, I do like that. Project saving. And I do like to timestamp my backups, so setting up my automatic backups here. And I don't recall if I called it automated or automatic backup, so I'm going to verify my folder names. Automatic backups. And I use a relative path here, and that is so it'll create a subfolder inside the project folder just called automatic backups. And I mean, you guys have probably seen my video on it, but you can see here timestamped backups. And in most cases, I'll rename a project as I get to a different phase. Like if I'm doing drum tracking, it'll be song name - drum tracking. So all of my backups will have drum tracking in the name. And then when I get around to guitar tracking or whatever, just slightly change the project name again, and my backups will help to reflect whatever state I was in when the backup was made. That is quite helpful. Undo history. I don't remember if I had that set or not, but I'll go ahead and check it this time. It's not that big of a deal. So I've got my automatic backups turned on, set to save every 5 minutes when not recording, and automatic, let's see, timestamp file in additional directory, so that'll go there. I don't want it in the project directory, I want it in that subfolder. Tracks and defaults, I'll likely leave these alone. I think I'll probably leave a lot of this stuff stock, although I may want to take a look at what stock is. Like some of my zoom settings are a bit silly. It looks like my zoom is focused, my horizontal zoom is focused on where the playhead is. And then I cannot remember where the zoom settings are. Let's keep going. I do like to have the knobs at the top of my media items so I can control my volume. I like that better than that line across the center there. So I think that should be, let's see, appearance and media. Item volume handle. Let's see, we'll do 0 at the center for the handle, but I also want to add the knob. If I can find it. Right there, the one that says volume knob. This is display scale to I think 120%, but I'm still having a little bit of trouble with seeing it. I'm not that far away from the screen, but I'm old. I like to have the item's properties listed there. And let's get the no effects listed there too. Apply that. So now I've got my knob, my item properties, and if I wanted to add an effects to an item, I can just click the button there, and it slowly launches my effects browser. I think that's the first time it's been launched, so it just took it a minute. That's fine. Let's see, what else do I need to change? Oh, my zooming, if I can find. I think that's under editing behavior. So horizontal zoom center is currently set for the edit cursor or play cursor. I think I want to try mouse cursor for that. And that way, let's say I've got my mouse right here at measure 7. Now my zooming stays wherever my cursor is. That does get it to be a little bit weird because as you zoom in, let's see, any rumors out there? There's all kinds of rumors, but it's strictly that, rumors. I don't think anybody has any idea when 7 will come out. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe another year to a year and a half. This is not coffee. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But it's tasty. You know, if I'm honest, I don't know that there's a whole lot of stuff that I want to change in here. There are some things that I need to add in Repack, so I want to browse that. I'll need to add Toucan back in here since I don't have that repository. And actually, there's a lot of stuff that I had added in Repack that is now just included, so I don't even need. I do have a couple of folder actions that I like. Create folders. Create a folder to contain selected tracks. I love this action. So I'll install that. That's the only one that I can think of right off the top of my head. So I'm going to create a new project so I'm not messing around with that one. I'm not going to save it because it doesn't matter. But now that I've got that action installed, I need to bind my key press to it. So this one here, create folder to contain selected tracks. If memory serves, I did Control-Shift-F for that. And why I like that is if I've got, let's say I've got 10 tracks here. And I want these tracks in a folder, so I'll select all of these and Control-Shift-F, and I'll make folder. And you can see it has created this folder track to contain all those others in one shot. I just found something else that I need to change. Let's see. And my eyes are going kind of silly on me. There we go. Clickable icon for folder tracks to show or hide children. So now I can collapse that down here in the track manager. I will definitely need to set up SWS extension for auto color. This is going to be a fun one to set up. Oh, my track templates for my drums. I don't have that. Now that one I'm going to have to pull out of my other installation because I really don't want to recreate that. So let's see if I can find where my track templates are. Probably in this folder right here that says track templates. And that's really the only one that I need right there is my drum tracking template. So I will go ahead and put that here in the track templates folder. That is a lifesaver. So I will delete these tracks and let's test. And there's my drum tracking template with my routing already intact, so that makes it really easy for me to go back to the kit in one shot and just have everything the way that I need it. I like that. There are a few things in here that I'd like to change, but it's good to know that I've got that. So for auto color, so I want child tracks to take the color of the parent, and I need to make sure that I enable auto track coloring, marker coloring, region coloring, track icons and track layouts, most of which I don't use, but that coloring is important to me. So let me delete all my drum tracks and let's test. I'll add 10 tracks. Can't spell. I'll use my command that I installed to create a folder. And now if I change the color of this folder to a random color, my child tracks are not behaving. Okay, there we go. Sometimes I have to hit force. Color palette. I'm not for... What's up, Jason? I'm not familiar with RodeLab color palette. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying this backing stuff myself. If there's others who are not familiar with it, this is, let me close out some of this other stuff. This color palette, that looks pretty nice. I don't know how often that I actually would need this, just because I typically have my tracks auto-colored through here. Let's see, what color? Oh, set color. I don't know what color I'd like for my drums to be. Like right now I've got them set to something... What color? Okay, here's a poll. What color do you guys like to color your drum tracks? What does this button do? Oh look, I can start a poll in here. Although that's kind of pointless because if I do the poll, it's just yes or no questions, or I can type in options, but that doesn't give you the option to type in your own color. So since I can't remember the colors that I did for stuff, you can tell that I'm not necessarily glued to things being a certain color. I think I'll go for this grayish color for now. Red. I have tried the radial menu, and you know, I think that my needs are so simple that there's a lot of that stuff that I just don't do. That's an interesting color. I can go with that. And I think I want to change the panning on some of my tracks here as well. And then resave my template. Oh, I see something else that I need to change now too. Once I get this panning sorted here. This is very reminiscent of Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. So I'm going to save over my track template just to get this color baked in. And let's do guitars. My guitars, let's pick some shade of reddish orange. I think I like that slightly muted orange there. And let's see if this works. That works. It's kind of ugly, but it works. It actually looks fine when it's not selected. And I do like to go through and add a few other rules. Like, sometimes I'll use GTR, sometimes I'll actually spell guitar, and I want to make sure that no matter what, no matter which way I spell it, it takes on the same color. So let's see, let's do bass, and probably some kind of blue. Kind of sky blue there. This is gonna look like a hot mess. That works. That's interesting that I can't right-click here and add more tracks like I can up here. But I can just add multiple tracks here at the end. And I'm just testing for my parent rule here again. So theoretically, if I change the name of this to drum, okay, I think I may have my rules in the wrong order. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I need to run that down. The auto track coloring is from SWS extension. There we go. So now if I change this to drum, that should take, oops. If I change the name of this to drum, that should change that weird color, and there we go. I had to get these in the right priority order because since I had the parent-child thing up top, I think it didn't take on the color of the other. It always takes me a little while to get those right. See what else. So all I've got here is my default theme, which is fine. I need to change my default pan width, or my pan something or other. Let's see. Time base, I can leave that alone, that's fine. All that's fine. Oh, this needs to change. I forgot to add this. I like to add a relative path for my audio so that all of my media, if I actually track anything, is saved into a subfolder inside of the project folder called audio. I like for everything to be pretty neat and in order. The other part of this, let's see if I can find the pan thing. Right here, my default pan mode is stereo balance. I prefer stereo pan, I think. Let me save that as my default. And now I've got I can pan left or right, but I've also got a width knob, so I can change, like my drums for example, I tend to have those at about 80 to 90% width. That way I can push my guitars out hard left and right and it not be a problem. So let's close and reopen Reaper and see what we get. Now these colors won't be correct because the colors were... Oh, let's see, I've got some plugins. Looks like REEQ. I apparently didn't finish scanning my plugins, and I need to install REEQ. I don't use it much, but oh, look at that, it did take over the colors. That's nice. So, with that said, let's install REEQ. And I am kind of curious to look more into this color palette thing, so... Seems I just did a video about this recently. So there's the repository to add to Repack, so I'll just copy this link. Go back into Reaper. Do a new project. And I'll need to add a repository. And now if I browse packages, I should be able to get REEQ right there. And I suppose while I'm in here, I could scan my plugins and make sure that I've got everything. It's kind of strange that it says I'm missing one. Oh, you know what? I probably don't have my directories all set right for my plugins. And I can't read again. Help me find plugins. Probably right there where it says plugins. Okay, so here's my paths. Alright, so I think TDR Nova was one that was missing. I think I know where this stuff is, but I want to just confirm. Matter of fact, I will just look. Should be in my downloads folder. I hate the way that Windows 11 has started grouping things like this by date. I know you can turn it off, but it's still aggravating. So there's VST3 plugins, and I've got a handful of things in there. VST2 plugins, and there's my Tokyo Dawn stuff. So I need to add those directories. I guess I gotta add them one at a time. Which one did I add? Did I do 2 or 3? I don't remember. I did VST2, so I need to add my VST3 path. Which these days I let most of my plugins install to their default locations, but I've got a handful of things that were put in places manually. So now I need to do a rescan. I'm not going to bother doing a clear cache, I just want to scan for new stuff. And there's an option, I think it's actually in the plugin interface here. Let's see, options, showing effects list, where is it? I'll turn off the DX plugins there. There we go, duplicate plugins of different item types. I want it to show only VST3. That way if I've got a VST2 version and a VST3 version, I'll only see the VST3 version. And let's go back into our plugin preferences and make sure that DirectX plugin scanning is turned off if I can find it. There we go. Disable DX plugins. DX plugin scanning is already turned off anyway. I wonder if my crispy tuner is going to work. Let's find out. Yep, I've still got the crispy device, so we're good there. You know what? Now that I've got a pristine version of Reaper, I'm wondering if I'll still have that slow loading issue with Plugin Alliance stuff. Let's find out. So here's SSLG. And yeah, I've still got about a 3 to 5 second delay in loading those plugins. Now if I try the same thing with British channel from IK Multimedia, let's see if it is any faster. And that was near instant. I know that I've talked about this on a video before. This may not seem like a big deal, but if I've got, let's say, 30 tracks, all of them loaded with SSL 4000G, each instance takes 3 to 5 seconds to load, so that can make it a very long time to load a plugin. Let's see, I need to get myself a toolbar up here at the top, if I can remember how to do that. And I think I'd like for this to be centered. So, about transport position, I believe I had it there. No, center transport controls, I prefer that. A little bit larger for old eyes. And hopefully that does not change my track height, or track width, rather. Okay, so that's all still looking good. Now let's add a plugin at random. We'll just add this SSL. And shifting to bypass it is not grabbing anything else to the right, so I'm happy with that. I just have to rebuild my toolbar, and now I can't even think of how to see my toolbars. Let's see. Toolbar Docker. So I'll need to create a new toolbar. I wonder if my toolbar exists in my old directory somewhere, because that shouldn't affect anything either, since it's literally just toolbars. If there's a plugin on every track, are you talking about to disable? I think I see what you're saying. So I can, let's grab all of my tracks here. I will insert, and just find something at random. There's Audio We'll add their channel strip, add to selected tracks, so that puts their channel strip on all of my tracks. Deselect, and I'll turn off one. And it is behaving as it should. Now to quickly get rid of all those, I say quickly, but it's going to take me forever to find this stuff in the menu. It is the project there. I go to effects, and I can remove all of those in one shot. So I guess I'm going to have to rebuild my toolbar, which is fine. And I'll have to recreate my actions for fast edit, but for the time being, let's see. Top of main window. Okay, so now I've got my toolbar up top the way I'd like it, and I just have to rebuild my buttons. So, oh my gosh. Wow, I am totally going to have to go back and look at some of my notes so I can remember what tools. I mean, you can tell I didn't use that stuff very often. I think I just used a bunch of keyboard shortcuts more than anything. But not having a project to work on right this second, I am hard-pressed to remember what I even used. I'm looking back at some of my old notes because I think I took some notes on my toolbar, or at least a couple of actions that I liked. Yeah, so my fast edit that I will have to rebuild. Let's move Reaper over here and get this up here, so if anybody wants to copy that, they can. And let's create some new actions. I think this may be an older, yeah, this is like 3 years old, so I've probably changed that since then. Let's see what we got though. Split selected item at cursor with crossfade on the left. disable snap. Set default. I can probably find it faster by just searching for media item, bottom half, left drag. It still gives me a lot, so let's blow this up a bit larger. To move item contents. You know, I think I could probably do the move item contents ignoring snap and completely get rid of the disable snap. Well, I'll disable the snap so I can cut anywhere. Because if I don't have snapping disabled, that causes a problem when I go to make my cuts. Move item contents, it's in here somewhere, right there. Set default mouse modifier action for media item, bottom half left drag to move item contents. And let's see. Media item, fade intersection. Left drag. Move both fades ignoring snap. Move both fades ignoring snap. Okay, so that should give me my fast edit. Now I need to create normal edit. Whoops. Cancel that. New action. We will name it normal edit. What have I done? Okay, let's try this again. New edit, or new action, new custom action. Oh, okay, I guess that's just over there for reasons. But that can be removed. Disable auto crossfade on split. Media item bottom left. Ah, I can't talk now. Media item bottom half left drag. Pass through. And left click. To pass through to item click context, which is the default. And now I need to add those things to my toolbar. Those do get used pretty frequently. And normal edit. Now we can get rid of edit me. I don't need that. I'm rather enjoying this song. Rearrange those. I'm starting to remember some of the things that I had up there now. Oh, I need to double width these guys. Okay, so I got that done. Need to add a separator. And I can start to add some of my grid stuff up here. whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes. I don't often need much more than that, although triplets can come in handy, so let's look for eighth triplet, quarter triplet. Rearrange these. There's whole, half, quarter, quarter triplet, eighth, and eighth triplet. And I'll need to change my text for these. So 1/8T. 1/8. Quarter T. I should probably stick 16ths in there as well. That's quarter. Half notes and whole note. And down here we'll add 16th note and 16th note triplets. I guess that's just gonna have to say 16T unless I run it as a, what do you call it? Unless I run it as a double width, which depending on my eyesight I may need. So, okay, my grid icons are working. Alright, I need to test my fast edit actions. See what I've got that I can open up here. Old stuff. It has a one take, so that should be fine. I've not tried the adaptive grid yet. That might be kind of handy. Good lord, this is hard to see. Let's see what we got here. So I'll group all these. And let's test. I can right click to arm my fast edit. And looks like snapping is still turned on, but then again, I've not actually run the action yet. I've just armed it. So there. Yeah, it looks like I need to turn that snapping off probably first. But that's working as it should. That's working as it should. And now we are back to normal. Looks like it didn't change. Let me run that one more time. Okay, yeah, that worked. So my drum editing actions are fine. Gosh, there was a couple of other actions that I used to use. Let's go and load my old Reaper back up again. So I'm going to rename my config folder reaper.new and rename my backed up folder Reaper, so it should now load with the previous configuration. And now I can see my old toolbar and make note of what I had. And you can see that that problem is still here in the old one, so I have no clue what it is. Let's get Notepad++ up here. And what do I need? I've got fast. Okay, here's my actions. I'm missing. Move time selection left by time selection length. And I like this action a lot because, like, if I've got, let's say, like here I've got a stupid number. Let me get that to an even number. Like here I've got 4 measures selected and I want to work on the next 4. This is really good, like if I'm working on my, what do you call it? If I'm working on these 4 measures for drum editing and I want to work on the next 4 measures, I can just trigger this action and go to the next 4 measures. And I've got, I did have that set to go to the next 4 measures and, what's the word I'm looking for? I had it set to go to the next 4 measures and zoom in, but I found that that the zoom was kind of glitchy, so I took that away and just do it as 2 separate actions. Not yet, I don't think. Let's see if they continue. I do like coffee. Maybe they know that. Let's see. Zoom to time selection. Zoom out to project, I think, is the next one, which is a key press, but fast edit, normal edit. Remove empty takes, that's a good one. Track manager and glue items. I can't say I use that a whole heck of a lot, but I put it up there for some reason. Let's see, toggle show all envelopes for all tracks. Show all active envelopes. See, normalize, I literally never used that. I think I just put that in there for a video once. That is one that I need. Split, automatically split on crossfade on or off. I do like this one, set active takes to default color, because if I've run multiple takes on something and I finish a comp, I like to make sure that all of my takes are the default color of that track after I've comped. Set active takes to default color. Node off. I don't do enough MIDI to really need this, but F3 is the default key press, I won't worry about that. Regions clock, I need to install that through Repack. That is an important one for me. Monitor mix, I need to, oh wait, that's for the Q bus generator, I think. Yeah, so create Q bus from track selection. I like that one a lot. Which, if you guys have not seen that, that's what I use to create a separate headphone mix. I send to the headphone amp behind my drums, and then I can use my cell phone to independently control my in-ear mix. Solo in front, I don't use that often. I think I did that for a video. Effects bypass, I like that as a global, I think it is. Yeah, that turns off, just toggles the effects on and off. And snap stretch, I probably won't fool with that. I may just add that later if I actually need it, and I probably won't. So we can close that. We're getting close. So now I'll rename this folder again. And if what I'm doing here doesn't make a lot of sense, when you install Reaper, it creates, at least in Windows in the app data path, it creates a folder called Reaper that contains all of your configurations. Either deleting or just adding .bak or .whatever, or, you know, changing the name of the folder to whatever you want. It will... Oh lord, which one's the new one? Probably this one. But it will recreate the folder. Okay, that is definitely my old one there because it's got some stuff from church. I guess I already did it and I just got lost my train of thought. So let's open this one more time and finish building my toolbar. This isn't taking nearly as long as I thought it might. Probably because there's so much stuff up here that I just didn't use. Excuse me. Some of these things I'm going to have to reinstall, so let's go back into Repack. And I also want to open my actions list just to see if some of this stuff was deprecated. I think some of it is. So that one is not, so I'll need to install that. These two here, move time selection length, move time selection right and left by time selection length. I'll install those. Good afternoon, Mage. It's making me type faster, but not necessarily any more accurate. Let's see, there was another SWS one that I should have marked these with SWS. Oh, Regions Clock, that's one that I need. I'm just making sure that this doesn't have any dependencies. QBus generator I should already have just through SWS extension, so we're fine there. And let's see, when we last left our heroes, we were customizing our toolbar, adding another separator here, and inserting a new action. Actually, I think I typically have these before my drum edit and stuff, so I'll add one more separator. And we'll add an action here. So we'll do left, and we'll do right, and zoom out to time selection, or whatever it is, zoom to time selection. Too many of these. Toggle horizontal zoom to selected items or time selection. Time selection is fine. I think I just had horizontal. We'll just have to test it. And zoom out to project. Set horizontal zoom to default project setting? No. What is up, Smudge? You are not missing anything special. I'm just rebuilding Reaper after screwing it up. I don't know how I did it, but got all the superstars in the house. let's see, there was create cue bus from track selection. I think I did this one. Let me just run that and see what it does. I guess use last setting is probably it, so I'll need to do that in a new project, just so I don't mess with that one. So let's insert 10 tracks, and I'm going to select tracks 2, 4, 6, and 8, and run this guy. Okay, that's not the one that I wanted. So, and if you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's because my camera's right there and I'm short. I guess I could lift my chair up a little bit. There, see if that works. Now I can see. So I think I did open and close cue bus generator, so run that. That's what I'm looking for. Hello from France. Hello from West Tennessee. Let's see, I need my cue bus generator, so I'll add that in now that I know what it is. And I'll go ahead and start renaming some of these. I just call that monitor mix. And if any of you have not seen this action, let me show you what it does. So back behind my drums there, I've got a headphone amp that is hardwired to output 7 on my audio interface. So if this were an actual project and I was going to play some drums to, I can select the tracks that I want, and then click this monitor mix button. This is pre-fader, post-effects, so whatever I do in this does not affect the master mix. I don't think that, I mean, I saw a message that you sent me, but I didn't get anything to be able to approve or deny that. It probably went to DistroKid. I can check with them and see if there may be something in my DistroKid queue that I missed. So here for hardware, output 7. So I'm running, Lord, what am I doing here? I think I ran 7, well it's mono. So I'm running 7 to 7. And the bus name is drum monitor. Yeah, that should do it. So that has given me my drum monitor mix here. It's going to output 7. And you can see that these are sent to this track. So if I open routing for this track, I can turn these up or down, and you can see that it's changing the send, but it's not actually changing the master track. And to take this a step further, something else that I'm remembering now that I need to set up is I'm looking for control surfaces, or whatever it's called. There we go, control. So I need to add web browser interface using the template name. There should be one here called More Me. That's the one that I use. Use rc.reaper.fm. Port 8000 is fine. And this is just internal, so there's no need for me to worry about firewalls and all that stuff. So with that working now, I should be able to get my browser back up here, go to rc.reaper.fm/monitor, and let's pretend this is on my cell phone, so I'll make this a little smaller. So I'm sitting back at my drums, I've got this pulled up on my cell phone. Select my monitor track, I'm selecting drum monitor, and I get this, and I can turn my monitor mix up or down on these individual tracks however I'd like, and it does not affect my my mixer at all. So that is an invaluable tool if you're one who tracks for yourself. And the other part of this that I need to actually add is my regions clock. So let's go back and customize that. I need to add regions clock. Can't spell. Well, I spelled it right, but my finger stayed on the shift a little bit too long. And now I'm just going to start over. There, region clock. Double width this guy. And if you're not familiar with that one, let me open up another project that actually has some regions on it. Alright, so, oh, and I don't have any regions on this, so I will make some regions real quick. Ooh, that actually reminds me of a couple of other things I need to get. Let me see if I can find it. Hey Smudge, are you going to be around for a bit? Let's see. I have nominated Smudge as moderator, whether he accepts it or not. There was a script that I had to create region from markers. Create markers. Create regions from selected item nodes. No. Selected takes markers. I feel like it's in here, but I can't read. It's got to be in here. From selected items, from selected takes markers. And Andy, thank you for your service, for moderating. I'm quite happy that there's not been a bunch of junk in here today. Either that or you've just been on top of it and it's been really busy. Regions from markers. Let's see. Create project markers from selected take. No. I know that this action exists. It just may be in like a repository that I don't have anymore. Let me see if I can find that because I answered somebody on that once before. Somebody has already built this, and it was Cephilian. That's who it was. Okay. I remember that. Maybe I don't have that person's repository. There's Cephilian. If I'm spelling that right. Insert. I wonder if he took it out or something. Oh, there. That's it right there. Insert regions at markers and vice versa in time selection. What is up, Batman? Thank you for joining us at all. This action right here is pretty interesting. Let me. No, not that. Let me show you what it does. So the name of the action, and this is one that is in repack anyway, you just have to install it. Insert regions at markers and vice versa in time selection. What I found in testing this was if you don't have a time selection, and you can see I don't have a time select. Well, I've got one, so let me escape. So I don't have a time selection, and let's get my entire project in view. Now let's search for that action, if I can find it. Insert regions at markers and vice versa. So if I run that, it has now created my regions between every marker automatically, which that is awesome. So now I can use regions clock, and you can see that as my playhead moves, it tells me what region I'm on and how much longer until the next one. So if I blow that up, I can see that from across the room at my drums and have a... thanks again for modding, and thanks for hanging out with me. I know this is not the typical stream because I'm not really showing anything useful, but although this regions clock is quite nice. So that's working. I think that is close to everything that I need. Oh, no, there's a few more. Now I'm starting to think of things. I need my monitor effects. Oh, I didn't mean for that to happen. What did I just do there? Let's see, there was something about... I need the project tab. There's an option to always show... There it is. Always show project tabs. I like that. So even if I have one, the project tab shows. And why I like that is... the monitor effects by default only shows if you have project tabs. So if I always have my project tabs showing, there we go. The force project tabs visible in monitoring effects. So I've got that. I guess I need to add. Oh wow, yeah, I've got to put Restream back in here. Probably helps if I get out of the audio assault folder. There's Restream. Send audio local broadcast, and that's fine there. And I also had Morph It. And my headphones are Audio Technica something 50. Hang on a sec. They are M50X. So I've got that for headphone correction if I'm using headphones, but I need that. I've got that after Restream, so that if I do have my headphones on and I have to use the headphone correction software, it doesn't go through the stream. Alright, so we've got that set. In theory, that's going to work. And there was one more thing that I needed that now I can't remember. What am I forgetting, guys? Actually, I need to test Restream and see if it's working, so let me pause this music here. Turn down this master track, because I got no clue how loud this is, and see if it's sending. Oh, you know what? It's not going to send anything if the master's all the way down. Stupid. Okay, and that's not currently sending to OBS, and that may just be because, yeah, I have to change something in OBS for Restream to work. May take me a second to get this. I've got these gain reductions in there. And let me just pop the plugin open and see what we got going on here. There's Restream. Okay, yeah, let me know if you hear that. Excellent, so that's working. I don't know if I'm ever going to finish this song. The problem that I'm having with this is the vocals. I can sing it. What is up? It's been a while, man. Hope everything is good in Arkansas. Yeah, everything is good with this, but when I try to sing it, the last chorus is way too high. Alright, so we've got all plugins working. Restream is working just fine. Just gotta finish building my toolbar up here. Let's see, toggle effects bypass on all tracks. That one is quite useful. Well, I didn't mean to hit that. I just meant to hit select. Billy Ray Cyrus. I've got my monitor mix up there. I've got region clock. Oh, you know what? I may hit you up for some of those deathcore growls on another thing that I'd like to record. I used to be able to do that stuff, but I'm old now and my lungs just, I love my tone for doing it, but I don't have the lung capacity. There's the missus. Let's say hello to my wife. Hello, wife. Oh, you got Belle a sweater. So Belle has a new sweater. Let me see if I can get her on camera here. Uh-oh. What happened? I think I broke it. No, I think I just bumped my camera. Oh, you know what? I never switched scenes. Hold that thought. Am I frozen? Yep, we're frozen. Give me just a second to reset my camera here. There we go. Oh my goodness, where's this thing? Okay, sorry about that. I had something glitch with my camera when I went to move it, and let's see if I can do this now without breaking anything. Dang it, it did it again. Okay, so I can't do that. I think I'm bumping. I see what I'm doing now. Give me just a second. Okay, apparently I am bumping my HDMI cable and pulling it out of the camera, so you can kind of see her over there in her sweater. That looks nice. I like that. It fits her a lot better than her old one. Alright, so let's see if we can can finish building this. Let's see, I've got my toggle effects bypass on all tracks. I've got my Q bus generator. I've got regions clock. Set active takes to default color I don't have, so I need to get that added. I don't know if I can find that action. Set all takes of selected items to, no, not all takes. I need, there we go. That is, yeah, that sweater looks nice on her. She had a multicolored, what I would call Bill Cosby sweater, but she's large. It's hard to find one that fits her, and it looks like that one fits her well. There's set active takes to default color. Let's add that. What else do I have here? Split on crossfade, I needed the toggle for that. Or crossfade on split. Dyslexia. Toggle auto crossfade on split. Let's get that in there. Sometimes I just like to turn that off. Like if I want to edit some drums but I don't want those crossfades just yet, I like the option of doing that. So now I've got to rename some of these actions. I don't know why that glitch keeps happening. Actually, I think there is a preference in here about offlining audio that I need to change. Do you guys keep the offline audio setting turned on? I mean, I don't guess it hurts anything. Let's see, when I click away. I'll just leave it. I'm curious to see if it changes anything. Alright, so now I need to rearrange these things. So, monitor mix and regions clock. Yeah, I've definitely got to change these up here because I don't have the icons that make sense to me. So, I need to change the icon for that. This is for my action to toggle the horizontal zoom to time selection, and I gotta move this chat where I can see it. Where is it? Oh, you're talking about the offline thing? What that's actually for, let me get out of this. If I click away from Reaper, you can see all of my media is now showing offline, like the waveforms are all gone. I don't know why that does that or what benefit that serves, if anything. And then as soon as I click back, and I think that's what's causing that temporary glitch in the audio. So I'm curious to test that theory. So now I can click away, go to another application, all of that media stays online. Well, and it's still causing a momentary glitch in the music, I don't know why, but I'll just go ahead and turn that back on, it's not hurting anything. Let me double check my project settings and stuff here, I think I'm all good here. Oh, I don't have my screen sets, which, I mean, most of the time I just worked like this. I had screen sets, but I tend to just disable and re-enable the dock, if anything. I had a button for, what do you call it? The track manager, which I don't really need, but let's dock that. Move it over here to the side. I lost my cursor. There we go. Yeah, I like my track manager over there, and I can save that in another screen set. Or I can just add the button up here to show or hide it, because that's probably easier. There's no need to do a whole screen set just for the track manager. add that here in front of my, what do you call those things? My grid markers. I think I ended up making a button because Control-Shift-M was giving me trouble for some reason. So now I can toggle my track manager on and off just like that. Got my, what's it, Media Explorer. I'm quite enjoying this background music. Effects inserts, I've got those in there. I can't say I do a lot with track icons, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Now let's check my options in the track manager here. Mirror track selection, I like that. Like if I've got a large project, which mine don't typically get too big. I don't like that. But, well, actually, that indent is kind of nice. But anyways, if I've got more tracks than what'll fit across the screen there, I can click one, and you can see my track selection is going along with this. So it just makes it a lot easier to get to a track without having to scroll around. With that in mind, I do need to make sure that this is set to scroll. Auto arrange and scroll view and tracks activated, so that's all set. I feel like I'm still forgetting. Oh, I didn't fix my buttons up here. Horizontal zoom to time selection. I never did come up with an icon for that. Right there, zoom to time selection, so that's an easy one. And now time selection left. Oh, that's right, so I need to move that. And now I need to change the icon for my left one. Seems like I'm missing some icons here. I'm wondering if maybe one of the themes that I had before had some icons that it installed or something. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back to that one. I think it may have been included in like a theme pack or something. So I've got that one. I haven't looked at themes in a while. Let's see, is there something that I want? I do think I want to get White Tie's theme adjuster. I did quite enjoy that. Or a theme assembler. Download this. I've probably already got this, but yeah, I gotta get rid of this grouping. That's driving me batty. I can't seem to find anything in here. Let's see, grouped by none. There. So I've got a very outdated theme assembler, at least I had one in my old one. So with the new theme assembler installed, I'm assuming that you guys are familiar with the theme assembler, but if not, I'm about to run through this now. Show Reaper resource path. I'm gonna dock this over to the side so we can see these instructions. Extract the contents of the zip, the Lua file, and the theme assembler folder into the scripts folder. Dump these in here. The actions list, we'll see script, theme assembler, new action label script. And run theme assembler. Now it's in here, or open. So let's create a theme, shall we? I've lost the chat window. There we go. Alright, so now we can go through this. I'm liking this music too, this is good. Let's see. Crowdkill, since you are not here, this is a channel on YouTube that's simply called Backing Track. It's all royalty-free music, so it's perfectly legal and fine to play it in the background when you're streaming without getting the copyright strike. Alright, so this is 125%, and I need to, what do I want to change? So I can click on any element in here if I recall, and I can choose different faders or whatever. I do think that I want to, it looks like this reset some of my, what do you call it? It reset my indentations. I don't like a heavy indent on those. I think I want to add a slight border around my folders. That's kind of nice because it gives me a little bit of a separator to help better identify groups without having to have the indent at the bottom. I like that. I think that's pretty good there. Now let's see if we can build us a nice looking theme. This. Yeah, I don't think I want to mess with that. Transport's fine. I think if anything, I may just play with some of the faders. That's for the track faders and the mixer faders. There's different ones that I can pick from. I think I like that darken with the little green line. That looks kind of nice. You've got different meters that you can choose from. But I'm totally fine with the default meter. I don't know that there's really much of anything else in here that I would change. I mean, you've got different knobs that you can choose from. It's almost overwhelming because there's so many options. Let's take a look at the transport. All these different buttons. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stop there. I just changed the fader. Now the important part is, let's see if this theme adjuster or theme editor is what caused my issue before. Okay, and I'm still able to shift click things to disable them without causing that problem anymore. So other than, oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's check and see if now I've got those icons that I wanted. Yeah, I don't know where I got those icons from before. I guess I'm just gonna have to figure something out for that. Oh, you know, there's a couple more actions I didn't add that I'd like to stick in here. So another separator. I never did add in the toggle effects bypass. Toggle effects bypass on all tracks, I like that. And then there was the envelope visibility. Yeah, I probably can. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, it's a little bit frustrating because I had the perfect icon, and it was just like a clock icon with a left arrow or a right arrow. Let's see if I can find it. It's not cursors. Toolbar icons. Yeah, I got a lot of icons in here. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't show up with clock. Let's try time selection. I'm not really feeling this song. I'm gonna skip this. I'll just thumbs down it so it never plays again. Maybe I'm delusional. Let me search for left and see what I get. Time selection left, time selection right. It's strange, it's like I cannot find them anymore. Almost makes me want to go back into the old one and see what those icons looked like. Toggle display of all visible envelopes and lanes for tracks. So is that what I'm looking for? Envelope. Toggle show all active envelopes. All active envelopes. What the heck? For all tracks. That'll work. And what I like for that is if I've got a whole lot of automation, I can just click a button to keep the automation lanes like active, but not have to see them. And I've got a nice button for that, so that's an easy one. Except that's not the right one. I'll just make a text icon for that. Bypass effects. And let's go back and edit this envelope one. Alright, so this should, just turns off the effects off and on. I don't know that I've got any automation on this project. I don't think I do. Sounds pretty good for a static mix, I guess. Really, I think that's about it. Let's open up one more project here. It's choking. Guess we'll find out here in a minute. Alright, let's play for a minute. So this is just something I was messing with this morning. I was test driving a couple of channel strip plugins. I've got Frank from Analog Obsession and this channel strip from Audio Assault. The Audio Assault one, I'm learning to like it. I like the sound of it, but what I don't like, and I can demonstrate this, I'm probably going to do a video to compare these a bit later in the week, but what I don't like is this compressor, and let me show you why. So, good Lord, I can't read. So here's what we got going on here. Okay, so if I engage this channel strip here, now I'm going to turn my threshold up all the way, and I've got my ratio only set at 2 to 1. I hate that those are backwards, but I can live with that. As I start to adjust the threshold, this compressor goes nuts, and I feel like it's the reading that it's giving is like the numbers are skewed, like it's giving a false reading. So I'll start to play with this here. So what I'm finding is, like I said, I like the sound of the plugin. It sounds great. Like the saturation that this adds is really good, and you've got two different flavors that you can blend between. But the way that the EQs respond and the way that the compressors respond, you really have to listen and not base it on what you can see, because the numbers I don't believe add up. Another thing that's really cool about this plugin is if you go to, not settings, where is it, this button here, and routing, you can reorder the different parameters of the channel strip in any way that you see fit. Now it doesn't change the visibility of it actually in the plugin, so you just have to remember what order you set them up in. But I wish that all channel strips gave you that flexibility. So let's take a listen to this again, and then we'll switch over to Frank from Analog Obsession and see how it sounds. And before anybody asks, yes, I am very much aware that these are not level matched. I am adding a little bit of output gain because my intention was to boost these up a little bit just to get my meters looking a bit more, I guess, broadcast friendly. So. I'm not sure if you're able to hear that, but as I switch between A and B, there's a distinct difference there. It sounds a lot. I know it's hard to describe sounds with words, but it sounds a lot more full and rich on the B side. It's like it adds a little bit more of a warm low end, for lack of a better word. Alright, and let's turn this off and compare it to Frank. Now this is an apples and oranges type of comparison because these two plugins are nothing alike. One thing that I do like about the Audio Assault channel strip is that it's resizable, and nicely so. That's great for this 4K screen because I can see it very, very clearly. The Analog Obsession one is not scalable, at least not to my knowledge. The Analog Obsession one, if you click on the logo, it does do oversampling, which is nice. The Audio Assault one, and hopefully I will not get these names mixed up because they're kind of close phonetically, but in this menu there is an oversampling option, and you can do 2x, 4x, or 8x, which changes the quality and the latency. Now, of course, you can resample effects individually or as a chain directly in Reaper, so I guess it's not necessarily necessary. I am kind of curious though. Let's switch to the 8x oversampling and turn this one back on and see how it affects things, particularly on the performance meter over here. Alright, enough on that. Let's take a listen to Frank. I could not get this dialed in to where it sounded exactly like this, but as I said before, it's because this is an apples to oranges comparison. Frank, and I'm going to have to pull up the manual to get this right. Frank meaning Frankenstein because it's a whole bunch of different stuff in one. Let's get that over there where we can see it. So there is the H-type low cut, and I don't recall what brand name the H stands for. Here for the low end, this is a Pultec style, and for the mids, we've got the mid band is API style. The high band, the high shelf rather, is Neve style, and then we've got the Pultec style attenuation at the end. Going through the compression and the preamp stage, you've got buttons here where the preamp stage can be either solid state or tube, and the same thing for the compression. It just adds a little bit of a different flavor depending on which options you choose. And what else do we have here? We've got fixed attack and release times. The fast is, let's see, the attack time is half a millisecond, medium at 10 milliseconds, and slow at 30 milliseconds. And the release times, fast is 50, medium is 500, and slow is 2 seconds. Like I said, I could not get this dialed in to match this, but let's compare the two and see which one you like. What I'll do is highlight both of these here, and I may mess this up, but with those highlighted, I can turn one of them on, which will start with Frank, and then I can switch back and forth between them and see which one you like best. I may have to stop and make a couple of tweaks since I messed with this during the stream, but we'll see if we can get them close to each other. I think I'm liking Frank a lot better. I had to go back to the manual and take a quick look at what these frequencies were because for some reason my brain was not computing 0.07 or whatever it was. It doesn't show the exact number. It's kind of like in decimals. Decimals, is that the right word? Yeah, in decimals. Almost said decibels. I do like the sound of the Audio Assault one. I'm curious now to see if I can get a bit more roundness to the low end on that. So let's play that back and switch back over to the Audio Assault channel strip and see what we can get. Now after adjusting the low mids on the Audio Assault, I'm liking that one better. It does seem like I've got a little bit more control over things here because with the low end on this, you've got the attenuate and the boost with no clear-cut guidelines for the curvature on it. Also, this stops at 100 Hertz. So I guess I'm actually probably able to fill in a little bit more over here. Like I've got a almost a 1 dB boost of a low shelf at about 160 Hertz here. Whereas on this, I've just got a little bit of a boost at 81 Hertz, and I've also got a cut. I don't know that I can get them to match, but that warmed up nicely once I brought down that low mid boost, gave it a pretty wide Q and a little bit more of a volume boost. Let's play a little bit more. See, as I run that boost on the low end of Frank, it just seems almost like it's just making the kick drum stand out more, and it's not accentuating that lower end of the string section. I'll try to fool with the mids a bit more and see if I can maybe get it to work, but not having any kind of a bandwidth control on that, it's a little bit harder to dial it in, but I do like the sound of this overall. And now I'm liking Frank better again. Which channel EQ is that? Are you talking about the smaller one here, or the big one here? Invasion, if you would, just clarify which one you're talking about. The one on the left here is called Frank. It's by Analog Obsession, and that is free. I'll go ahead and post a link in the chat session here if you want to grab that one. And if you missed out on the descriptions on this before, this is a conglomeration of, I can't remember what this H stands for, but whatever H is, the high pass filter is H style. The P stands for Pultec. So you've got a Pultec style boost and attenuation in the low, and then the high attenuation is also Pultec style. The high shelf is Neve style, and the mid channel is API style. We've got the big black one. That is Audio Assault. Let me see if I can find that one real quick. I think that one is currently like $9 or something. Yeah, $10. And a few things that I really do like about this, if you missed out on that, is it is scalable. I mean, I'm on a 4K screen and I can just grab the bottom edge and drag it, and it scales up and down quite nicely. It loads lightning fast, unlike the plug-in Alliance alternatives. And the saturation controls on it sound really nice. It's a really good sounding really good sounding plug-in, but I think that the meters are a bit wonky on it. You kind of have to ignore what this looks like. And another great feature in here, and my apologies for those of you who have already seen this, but you can drag and drop to rearrange the order of the audio flowing through the channel strip. It doesn't change it back on the main interface, but if I want the compressor to be before the preamp, I can just move it and close out of here, and I just have to remember where it sits. It would be nice if this were able to rearrange, but it's not that big of a deal to go back into the routing and take a look at it. I don't remember what order I had this in. Say preamp, filters, equalizer, gate, and compressor. That sounds good. So let me go back and switch to the Audio Assault one. And I'm really torn between the two. They both sound really good, but there's it's like every time I make a tweak to one, I feel like I like it better than the other. So here's Audio Assault. Oh, one other thing about Frank is if you push the input gain on the preamp, what's the word I'm looking for? It's automatic gain compensation, so I can push this all the way into distortion, but the volume won't change. It's actually pretty nice. Check this out. So that makes it really easy to dial in the perfect amount of saturation for your project. Now the analog, dang it, I keep getting these backwards. The Audio Assault one, if you turn up the gain, it'll just clip your master if you keep pushing. So you do have a trim over here. I don't think that they've got an automatic one. There's also a way to change the modes on the EQs. I believe, if I recall correctly, if you were to put Bertram's plugin doctor or whatever, the EQ analysis thing on this, the curvature will not match what the knobs are pointing to, but according to Alex from Audio Assault, that's by design. If you do want everything to be more exact, you can turn on this EQ high tolerance digital center and things will be much more like where you have them pointed. I don't recall what the analog stereo toggle does. Let's take a listen and see if we can hear a difference. Let me switch back over. I turned that down for a minute just because I was a little bit puzzled about this, and now I guess I see this is the input side and that is the output side. I was wondering why those two weren't even, was thinking it was a stereo balance issue. Let's see what else we've got in settings here. Native or OpenGL. That seems to be the only options. I don't know what difference it would make. Okay, apparently if you switch that to OpenGL, it has a seizure. So let's switch back to native, and I think that it scaled up without flickering. And I don't know, can you see what I'm talking about with the compressor there? Like this release time is allegedly 1.16 milliseconds, but you see how long that was taking. I'm thinking this is not milliseconds. So like right now with this at 0.29 milliseconds, I'm guessing that is probably 290 milliseconds, and it's just labeled incorrectly. At any rate, these both sound good. Frank is free in the audio. Dang it, I keep saying these wrong. In the Audio Assault is only $10. Let's see what it says on the site here. I'm going to assume that this is loosely based on an SSL. I'm going to deviate from protocol and go to Facebook for a second just so we can take a quick look at Audio Assault. Hey, there's my mama. Audio Assault users here. There's actually some interesting stuff that they are planning on putting out pretty soon here. If I can find the post from Alex. Alex is the developer from Audio Assault, but they are planning on releasing an amp capturing plugin. Let's see. I don't know that they have a formal name for it right now. He's just calling it amp clone internally, but it's supposed to allow you to capture an amp stack similar to the new Tonex from IK Multimedia, except it's probably going to cost like $3 or something. A lot more affordable, and it's the same technology that they're using for their to capture their amp sim. Dang it, I can't talk. It's the same technology that they're using to capture the amps for the sims that they're making now, and it's just something that's all done in-house. I'm trying to find something about the channel strip in here. Oh, this is where Alex was testing, what do you call it? Their capture of the Randall Diavolo. He says now the capture process takes about 2 minutes. Not sure how loud this is going to be, but let's find out and zoom in on this a bit. And that sounds near identical to me. What time is it? It is about 3:30. I think I'm about done. I've got my Reaper set back up to the way that I like it, with the exception of two icons that I can't seem to find. It looks like I've got a few little graphical anomalies that aren't that big of a deal, or maybe something that I need to change in my preferences. And it may just be the fact that I've got a couple of heavy projects open, and I still got this open that I didn't think about. Let's take a look at this. Large non-tool windows frames for Windows, scale UI elements, I'll leave that alone. I think I'll probably just leave all this alone until I come across a problem, because it's not that hard to adjust to. There's my war all the time. I don't think I changed anything in there, but just to be safe. And maybe I'll get around to putting vocals back on this at some point. I'm going to let that finish out, and then I think I'm going to go and take a break. And let's run that one more time with Frank instead of the analog obsession strip. What I find interesting is when I started to test those this morning, this was the chain that I had on my quote-unquote mastering, which is I've got the tape machine from IK Multimedia. I had a couple different EQs stacked up, and one thing I do like about these IK Multimedia plugins is they too are scalable, so it takes it a second to redraw, but I can drag that about as big as I want and still be able to see them. So I've got two of their two of their EQs stacked, maybe even three. Yeah, I added a third one in there just because I couldn't get everything done that I wanted in just one of them. And a bus compressor, then of course I had a clipper and precision comp and then relimit, and I bypassed all that, and I am pretty well pleased with just using Frank and Event Horizon. But so yeah, it seems like my Reaper problem is resolved. I still don't have a clue what exactly caused the problem in the first place, but I'm glad that I was able to get this clean install rebuilt. And I still have all of my old stuff backed up in case there's anything that I have forgotten about. Everything's sounding good and working as it should, although one thing that I can think of at the moment, there's an option for the meter refresh rate in here somewhere. Right here, meter update frequency is currently 30 Hertz, and if I switch that to 60, that'll just make my meters a lot snappier. So let's run that one more time. folks. Well, I guess that's about all I got for today. Thank you guys and girls for hanging out with me. If anybody's got a quick fix for getting my chat overlay to work again in OBS, I'm open to suggestions. I was using a plugin or an extension that goes in Chrome to where when you pop out the chat, it's supposed to, well, it gives you a URL that you put into a browser extension or a browser input in OBS, but I couldn't get it to work today. I think someone may have said that OBS now has a feature built in to automatically ingest the chat from YouTube, and perhaps somebody can shoot me a link or some instructions on Discord. If you're not a member of our Discord, there is a link, should be in the description, and I'm going to go spend some time with my wife before she has to leave. Thanks again for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.